Okay, so we're going to go into Sifei a little bit, and we're going to be medaik some questions that. What's your first name? Avram Moshe. Avram Moshe is brought up, and that's what we're going to start from. Be'ez Hashem, we're going to try to see if we can put something together over here. Let's learn it inside together, and let's be medaik inside together. Keneged Malchus Dikdusha, Yesh Malchus Harisha. So we have to understand, the question is right away. Till now we weren't talking about Malchus Hatracha. That's right away the question over here. In other words, if the Rebbe is like being Mechadash us now, Keneged Malchus Dikdusha, there's Malchus Harisha, which means that till now we were talking only about Malchus Dikdusha. Is that so?
The Rebbe did mention.
The Rebbe mentioned
that there's not to be mishtamish the Malchus le'atzma,
and our Rabbanos mekaveres is balo, and b'chol mokem mugish l'shmi. So you see, and the Astoras Shabbatach Astoras, everything, and that's the Riba Averes. Isn't that Malchus Harisha? So what's the Rebbe being mechadish now? What do you mean? Keneged Malchus Dikdusha, yes, Malchus Harisha. Like the Rebbe is telling us, till now we were talking about Malchus Dikdusha. And now we're talking about Malchus Harisha. And who's the Malchus Harisha? Let's go questions. Hainu Malchus Haman HaMalek. K'moshe Kosav Reishis Goyim HaMalek. That the Malchus Harisha is Malchus Haman HaMalek. The Rebbe sticks in Haman over here, which it doesn't. We take on the pashtas. Haman is Amalek. Well, why? Why is the Rebbe sticking in Haman HaMalek? L'chayr, we were talking about in Sif Gimel, and we're talking about Mordechai, and we're talking about the tzaddik, and the das has come from the tzaddik. So then the Malchus Harisha has to be Haman, Keneged the Mordechai, and soon we're going to talk about Ma'asef, the Ma'asef. So, but the Rebbe doesn't bring a raya to it. Haman is Amalek, like take it for granted. Who says? What, it's a question. This is the part that I'm trying to get to. The question, I'm not saying the answer. The question stays a question. Don't take anything for granted. Rebbe, what do you mean here? Malik is Reishis Goyim HaMalek. And Haman, L'chayr is HaMalek. We understand that. But maybe perhaps you're trying to tell me something more. I don't know the answer. I'm just saying it's a question. It's a dig. Because of Reishis Goyim HaMalek. So how do you see that HaMalek is Malchus? Because Reishis Goyim. Goyim is Malchus, and Reishis Goyim is B'choy. The Reishis is Reishis Goyim HaMalek.
Represents Malchus.
Correct. V'zeh l'umazeh. Now the Rebbe is being mechadish something. Keneged Malchus Dikdusha, we have Malchus Harisha. And one is against the other. Ki Malchus Dikdusha b'chinas ma'asef l'kol ha'machnas. The Malchus Dikdusha is being ma'asef. It's gathering from all the machnas. This is talking about Shevet Dan. That was going the last when they traveled. Shevet Dan was ma'asef l'kol ha'machnas. Rashi says that anything that was lost from any of the other shvatim, they would collect they were ma'asef. The Farshim say that it's not just that they collected the items that were lost, but they were collecting the people that were lost. It was in the Kisher McCroys. I don't remember who he brought it from, but he brought it from somewhere that they were collecting the people. So what is the Rebbe? So here we have to understand, from all the things that the Rebbe taught us about Malchus till now, he taught us about the Inyan of Tzeifa, which is responsibility. He spoke about accountability. He spoke at Nishmeiseim Tachtov Ukfufim Eilov. Let's try to take all the things that the Rebbe spoke about till now about Malchus. He didn't mention anything about Ma'asef. And now it seems like the biggest component of the Malchus is this Ma'asef, because the Rebbe is about to be Megala us. So where did the Rebbe mention Ma'asef till now? Did he or didn't he? Anybody?
I still don't understand the Pushat Pshat. What does this mean, Machnas, in regard to Malchus? It's a nice.
So let's go into the.
Verstehe the Avoide davon, aber was hat das mit Malchus zu tun? Ein Melech ist der, was macht sicher, dass alle Sachen sind verloren
So Nachman mentioned, Nachman must be given as nicht nur the Chafetz, but the mention of it. We did see such a thing as being mechiach, kol hanashmus v'tachtov. That means ma'aseh. He's bringing back into the kedusha through him being mechiach. Yeah.
So let's try to understand. Yes, where we saw this by the Rebbe told us that the Malchus is a hierarchy. A hierarchy means it's a pyramid. It starts with the Echad, right? There's a big question on it because really the pyramid would start 1, 2, 3, 4, and it gets bigger on the way a pyramid goes. It goes like this, and if there's a Yesh Echad, then the Yesh Echad is on top. I think Mati mentioned something about it in his shir also. Me and Mati had a whole argument about it, but I don't want to get lost in this. But one thing we see, Malchus works with a hierarchy, which means there is somebody that I'm underneath, and there's somebody that's underneath me. So another question is, who's on the bottom? If every Korach yesh lebechinas Malchus, then really, how does the bottom, the lowest person, the lowest element of Yisrael, how does he have Malchus? There has to be somebody underneath him. So
First of all,
it's Makam them and there. That's also always same
first
level.
of all, the Rebbe says Korach lefi b'chinosai yesh lebechinas Malchus. The Rebbe says
Someone else.
B'chinosai could be that my bechina of Malchus is limited Torah, and your bechina of Malchus is Shmiras Habris, and we can have different components of Malchus within the same thing, and we're feeding off each other. And I'm a sorry Elef or a sorry Meir in this, and you're a sorry Elef and a sorry Meir in this, and it's not a steer and Mela, it's one big loop. But one thing about Malchus that the Rebbe is telling us over here, which he told us already before, is that Malchus needs to be where every Yid is part of the Malchus of Hashem. And if a Yid is using the Malchus la'nosei l'tzorchei, or he's an Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah that he created on his own, then what happens to him? He's not in the Malchus, he's in the Malchus of Sitra Achra. He's not in the Malchus of Hashem. And if he's not in the Malchus of Hashem, then we need something to be able to get him back into the Malchus of Hashem. So the Rebbe explained to us till now that there's that's why we need to bring Arichas Yom and Das into the Malchus. By bringing Arichas Yom and Das into the Malchus, we are able to infuse the Malchus with a power of this Das, this connection to divinity, that even when we're in Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah, and even when we're in Riba Averes, and even when the Eibush is hiding from us, that we have the ability to infuse the Malchus with a power that it should be a Chachma Techaya Ezbala, that the Malchus will revive itself and relive, and not be a Rabbonos Mekaveres Ezbala, and not where the Malchus is going to bury us. The Rebbe is telling us that Malchus is very dangerous. Yes, Korach Yisrael, yes, Lebechinas Malchus. But this Malchus is more, if you don't do anything, if you're not doing Esek HaTorah B'Peh, you're not bringing infusing the Malchus with something that's Das, that's bringing Chayes into the Malchus, then it's a Rabbanos Mekaveres Ezbala. So in a regular situation, the Malchus is going down, it's not going up. We have to do a kum v'aseh, there has to be a pu'ula to bring that Malchus up. So what is the pu'ula? The pu'ula is Esek HaTorah B'Peh. By Esek HaTorah B'Peh, we're bringing in Das, and we're bringing Das into the Malchus. And then the Rebbe is telling us that there's two types of Astoras. I don't know if I mentioned it here, because I don't remember what, I said it somewhere, that there's Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah, that I think I said it. I think I said it. The Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah that the Rebbeinu Shalom is making, V'anoichi Hasta Asta. There's a Malchus Astorah where the Eibush is hiding from us, and there's Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah where the Eibush is hiding from us, V'anoichi Hasta Asta. And then there's Astorah, and Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah that we create. We're creating this Astorah Shabbatoi Astorah. So I think I said it last time. It was before she was what?
Why would Hashem make
Do me a favor, a cup with seltzer, yeah? Or ginger ale, yeah.
Isn't it like because you did Averis, you think that Hashem is hiding?
So we asked the question, if l'chayra, one would think that it's contingent. In other words, because we are doing Averis, And because we have ribu averes, we're creating astor shebedach astor. Memela, vert a matzef of anoichi hasta hasta.
Laat dat, de eigenlijk kan maken, wil zo file, wie zegt een file is als men daarof, ja. De eigenlijk wel etwas kommen da raus kann man, da wir das machen erst. Nur den die treffen eigentlich steht darauf
The question, it l'chayra does work like that. I don't know. We don't know the connection in Shemayim, but I do know one thing. The Rebbe doesn't start like that. The Rebbe first talks about the Astor and Astor Shebedach Astor of the Rebbeinu Shalom Astor. And then he brings in the Ova Vashon and Azliketa and the Riba Averis. So if it would be that it's contingent on us, then the Chayra, the Rebbe should have started with the Ova Vashon and the Riba Averis and then brought the Vanochi Hasta Hasta.
I don't know that maybe it means that. What does it mean that Hashem is master himself? What does it mean? So the Rebbe is masber that the way Hashem is master himself is through by us not knowing what is in our Veda. What does it mean Hashem is master himself?
No.
But if my pasha is coming to Hempstead, it's in a minute you don't see Hashem in the world. That's a pasha. What does that mean Hashem is master himself?
So you're learning Astoros are Averis?
Astoros is not knowing
I can't have a Astora. Rav Moshe Kremer can't have a Astora. Rav Chaim Kanevsky can't have a Astora. Or Astora Shabbatach Astora. He doesn't have Astora. Astora Shabbatach Astora. We live. Let me ask you a different question. Are we ever not in Astora?
No, there's always Astora. There's no Astora. There's no work.
Okay.
There has to be.
Do we see Hashem?
Yes, from the Bechira.
No. We don't see Hashem.
Right.
Even the biggest God that sees that he has das. And that das is the converter, the connector. The Torah is the converter, the connector to be able to have the kelim to see Hashem.
Right.
But we're always muster. It's always muster. No matter how much we see, it's even more muster in Ruchnias than it is in the Averis. Because in the Averis, between the Aver and the mitzvah is the Gilui, and the Avera is the Astora, whether it's Riba Averis or Ava Vashana. But when a person is Oved Hashem, and he's searching for the Rebbeinu Shalom, and he feels connection, he has das, and he has Eisik and Torah, it's even more musta because his das is telling him that the Rebbeinu Shalom is even more Astora. The Rebbeinu Shalom is so much bigger. You learn the Rebbe's Torah. Before you learn the Rebbe's Torah, the Rebbe is gewaldig. When you start learning the Torah, you can't even be medallion that this was a human being. It's impossible. It's impossible to be. There's no human being in the world that can have such a mind that could be so creative, to be so connected to every. It has to be Hasagas HaLikus. Someone said when we were learning Reish Pei Beis, Rebbe was a psychologist. Every psychologist in the world tells you the story is. It was Hasagas HaLikus. This was something much bigger. This is divine that has no end. It's Ein Sof. There's nothing. There's no way to. So that means that the more you know, the more you don't know. The more you see. I forgot that they said from the Baal Tanya. I said it also once. I forgot how it goes. Remember how it goes to the Baal Tanya? There was a Batchem that said to the Baal Tanya, what I know, the Rebbe knows. And what I don't know, or what the Rebbe knows, I don't know. But what I don't know and the Rebbe doesn't know is the same, something like that. And the Baal Tanya started crying because he realized that no matter how much you know, there's so much more that you don't know. It's only being Megala what you don't know. Mati said a very nice zach with the nair, with the candle. He said the candle says, the Rebbe says, the Riba Hashem and Goyim Kiba Aneh. So he says, what's the dimyan? So he says, because the candle is telling you a story. When you have a room full of light, so it's light. But the candle gives light in the darkness. The candle is flickering the whole time and telling you it's dark and I'm being megala light. So the same thing here, the Rebbe is telling us how to be megala dastas, but it's never going out of dastar. Anyway, I don't know how we got. There's
two types of stars. There's a story from Hashem. There's a story that
so we were saying that there is a story from the Rebbeinu that's not contingent. What's the raya? Mitzrayim. Avram Avinu got he said B'meida, and the Rebbeinu Shalom said V'avdo Isam Abba Me'ishona V'achechen Yetzer B'chush Gadol. And then so that means the 210 years that we lived in Mitzrayim, that we went through this whole Mitzrayim, that was our story that the Rebbeinu Shalom made. It wasn't because we created that story. It was destined to be our story. This is what the Eibishter wanted. Why? Because it comes out from the Torah that the way to be Megala the Das Elyon, which is Matan Torah, that the Eibishter gave us this gift of the Torah, we weren't. And that's when we became Atam Tilim and Melech Zikanim V'Goy Kodesh. That's when we became Malchus. We weren't Malchus till then. Till Matan Torah, we were not a Malchus. When did we get this Malchus? At Matan Torah. In order to get this Malchus, we had to go through the Astorah Shabbatoi Chastorah, because in the Astorah Shabbatoi Chastorah, that is Torah Hashem Mamish. That's Siv Dalet. That's Vavati Be'eretz Mitzrayim, Ani V'loi Malach, Ani V'loi Shlir, Ani Hashem V'loi Yachad. Because the only way to get the Eibush, the Mamish, Ani Hashem V'lo Yachad, was that we had to be in this place of Anochi Asta Asaf and the Rebbeinu Shalom, and that's when he was Megala, this Das Elyon that gave us Matan Torah, that we became the Malchus. That's when we got this ability of Elef Sorry. In Pashas Yisrael is the whole thing. The question is, was it before Matan Torah, after Matan Torah? This Gilui of Malchus, this gift of Malchus that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us, came to us on Matan Torah after we went through the whole Astorah Shabbatoi Chastorah.
That's why it wasn't a Einish what the Eibishter told the Ravini. B'me'eda ad b'me'eshuna. He said b'me'eda, how are we going to be zeicha to das? So the Eibishter says, we'll go through das.
Exactly. So that's the Astorah Shabbatoi Chastorah that happened from the Rebbeinu Shalom. After we became Malchus, then we had this challenge of our Rabbanos Mekaveres is Bala, or Achoch Matachai is Bala. Until Purim, I tell you the Gemara says, I said this once. So until Purim, there was a new Kabbalah Satorah, the Kima V'Kiblu, because Mordechai Tzaddik brought in new Das, because the Rebbeinu Shalom paved the way for us by making Vanoichi Asta by Mitzrayim, to be Megala the Das Elyon that came on Shavuos. The Rebbeinu Shalom paved that way for us, that now, even when we create Das Das, by Ova V'Shon and Asa Leketa, or by the Riba Aveis Hastorah Shabbatoi Chastorah, that there's still, we have the ability with the Esek HaTorah B'Peh, for the Torah to be Machrezes Kamayo Ad Mosei Pesi Tahavu Pesi. And when we come to this place of, we hear that voice, and everybody hears that voice. Everybody, every single Yid hears that voice, and we hear. And the Rebbe tells us in the Machshava, just the acknowledgement of the Machshava Dibur Ma'isa, and it comes out that the Tzaddik, he prevents us. What is it? It says B'chol Yom V'Yom Mordechai Mishalel B'Chatzah Beis HaNoshim. The Rebbe is telling us Chotzer is the Machshavas, and the bias is the dibur. Or forget, the bias is the machshavas and the chotzer is the dibur. So what happened to the ma'isa? In chatzar beis hanoshim, there's no ma'isa. The Rebbe tells us that even in the machshavah dibur ma'isa, there's the thing. There's the thing. So one mahalach I thought was that in the noshim, the Rebbe talks about three types of noshim, three types of weaknesses. Noshim v'kafzu, Noshani Elikim, they forgot, and Noshazog Vurosim. So I said maybe perhaps those are corresponding to the Machshavah. This is a Menei Ubei, by the way. This is the concept of Menei Ubei. That's corresponding to the Machshavah Dibur Maisa. The Maisa is Noshav V'Kofzu. The Machshavah is when I forgot. I once knew, but I forgot. And the Dibur is Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm saying Rebbeinu Shalom, I don't have power, I'm an addict. I can't, I'm so weak. What's the lotion? Ein lekel yodam, there's gabal yisrael, I don't have the power, but I'm in Dibur already. And where do you see the Dibur? The Rebbe says, Esek HaTorah B'Peh. Now the Rebbe is going to talk about another thing over here, which I don't see that we're going to get to, but Shelo Yoitzi Biloi Mipiv. And the Rebbe says at the end of the Siv, Chayil Bola V'Yekienu, that it's coming Mipiv. That the Malchus, this Harisha, is mamish against the Malchus. It's not just the Ma'asav Mekol HaMachnas. The Ma'asav Mekol HaMachnas includes every component of Malchus that we spoke about now, and the Malchus the Sitrari, because the big kasha. One second, let's go weiter in the seat. I know I'm all over the place because I didn't prepare. I'm just trying to go into this beauty. This is what I'm trying to show. The beauty of learning a Torah Be'ir. It's so fascinating. It's so beautiful. We have such a Rebbe. It hurts me that we have to go backwards because this is so delicious. It changes you. When you live the Torah this way, it changes you. It changed me. And I believe me. I'm exhibit A of this. You're living it. You're seeing it everywhere. You're seeing the Malchus. You're seeing the Ava Vishana. You're seeing the Astoras. And you're seeing everything. And you chap Eisek HaTorah, noch Eisek HaTorah. What's Eisek HaTorah? You said before, Limud HaTorah. It's not Limud HaTorah. It's also Limud HaTorah. It's Eisek HaTorah b'peh means anything that I'm doing, I'm acknowledging the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm going to business. There's no separation. I can find you everywhere. How? The first thing is I have to acknowledge your existence. I have to say, Rebbeinu Shalom, you're here too. And we don't, because we separate. Where's the Rebbeinu Shalom? The Rebbeinu Shalom is a mismedrash, the Kaisel, and no man. But when you middle the Alma, the Rebbeinu Shalom is here. Avadi, he's here. No acknowledge bepeh. Eisek HaTorah bepeh, Rebbeinu Shalom, I know you're here. I have a machshava ra, or I have a dibur ra, chashama meiser ra. I know you're here. Rebbeinu Shalom, I know you're here. I'm acknowledging your existence. I don't feel you. But I know it's not shaykh that you're not here. It's not possible that you're there. This, the Rebbe is telling you, you acknowledge that. That's the first step of das.
The dibur is more than the machshava and the meiser. Dibur is, Malchus is
the Rebbe says the dibur is the Gilui Adas. The Rebbe says afterwards here in Siv Zayin that the dibur is the Gilui Adas. The Gilui, Maimah Pesuach, Nema Zeh Bechinas is Galus Ki Dibur who is Galus Adas. That means the place of the revelation of Das is in dibur, which means it's the first step and the last step. Is the first step acknowledging the Eibush to bepeh. This is my answer, by the way. There's a few answers that I got out of the Torah. First of all, I told I don't know if I mentioned it over here. The Rebbe says about calling the Rebbeinu Shalom by his name, because when you call a person by his name, he's takev umezumah. He's ready. What does it mean takev umezumah? So I said, that means if I want something from you, the whole thing of Malchus here is being a receiver. What's the raya? The Malchus is being a receiver. You would think Malchus is leadership. But leadership can only come, what?
First of all,
Torah Aleph.
The Malch, the Melech is the Mashpia, and the Parashan and Das.
Right. But what is he supposed to do? What is he mitzvah? And what's that? That's being mamshech arichas yom. What does mamshech mean? If I'm being mamshech something, it means I'm a receiver. So that means my leadership. A real leader is the biggest receiver. Moshe Rabbeinu, he was the biggest receiver. He understood that everything is. He's not the leader. The leader, the place of the challenge of Malchus is when you believe you're a leader. When you take on the leadership, I'm the giver. That's my position. My position is giving. That's taking. That's not giving. Giving has to be from the position of receiving. Whatever I get, I'm giving. Whatever I get, I'm giving. The loop is continuing. And that loop goes from the Yesh Echad and it goes through the Sorah, through the Sorah Mez, through the Sorah Chamisha, through the Sorah. It's a loop that's going through. The second we challenge, there's only really one motion. The motion is receiving and giving. The Echad, the Achdus is, let's talk about Ish v'Isha.
Being ma'akib anything to yourself. You just
nothing but when you position yourself as I'm the giver, right there and then you're a taker. The taking is, that's the Malchus Sitracha. What's the difference between Ma'asif of the Kedusha and the Ma'asif of Mammon? The Ma'asif of Kedusha is including everybody inside.
In the Kedusha.
Into the Kedusha, he's taking, so how is he including? He's receiving, he's making everybody as receivers. We're all one big receivers. When there's no superiority, the second you go into any kind of superiority, even though you're giving, you're a taker.
But there is an episode of superiority. There's Sulam Alufim, Sulam
Hashem gave it.
That's coming. That's we don't know. That's Beskasia. The sorry I love him, sorry Chamishim is Beskasia. It's not Beskasia. The Rebbe said it Beskasia. So the question is the Malchus Beskalia the same Malchus as the Malchus Beskasia? That we asked this question all the way in the beginning of the Torah. Is the Malchus Beskalia? We have Malchus Beskalia and we have Malchus Beskasia. There's Beskasia we don't know about, right? Nobody knows. Eichefsha, the Rebbe talks about it. Eichefsha, how are you going to know? Is the Malchus Beskalia also coming from the same power as the Malchus Beskasia?
What do you mean? Same power from Hashem, of course.
Of course it's coming from Hashem, but is it Malchus de Kedusha? The Malchus Beskalia is Malchus de Kedusha? Who says? It could be Malchus de Sitracha also.
Could be, depends on the person.
Why not? Trump is not a Sari Elef?
Probably is.
Why?
For sure
So
he is.
any Melech is not a Sari Elef?
But it's not from the
Yeah, but
So how that means this concept of Malchus, we're talking about Kol Echad Mi Yisrael, Yesh Lo B'chinas Malchus. So his Malchus Beskalia, the fact that he's a Sari B'Veisa, is that Vadai Malchus de Kedusha? You could be a father and not and not be, and you're not giving into the Malchus de Kedusha. So it's lav dafka. In Beskasia, it's dafka. The Malchus Beskasia is dafka. The Malchus Beskalia could be. So where is the challenge of our Rabbanos B'Kaveres is Baleh, and in the Malchus Beskasia or in the Malchus Beskalia?
both.
Where's the challenge in the Beskasia?
Because if you don't bring, you're not machir through learning Torah. The Rebbe says if you learn Torah, then the Torah itself is machir.
Right.
So if you're not doing that, so then the Malchus Beskasia is also Rabbanos B'Kaveres.
because it's not doing its
Because it's not doing its purpose.
Yes.
Correct.
I was just thinking that
Yeah.
even Beskalia, if a person, if a Kodesh Baruch Hu gave a person a mandate of being a Sar Elef and the other person Sar Mei Sar Chamisha, that means that he's B'Koyach, that even if Beskalia, he could be in ganzen Ba'ofen Benachnimu and still be a Mashpia to 1,000 people. Any kind of Sar Maya will try to be a Sar, he doesn't even have the Kaila to be able to do this often that it shouldn't affect him in a way that it shouldn't make him feel snasses. In andere Werte, avade Malchus Beskalia can also avade Mizan Begedisha. It has to be Begedisha. What's the Mester? This is the Sache, so im West, das ist Begedisha. Wie weit wir können es tun im Ganzen Bild für Hashem Lavada. Ich hab 1,000 Menschen was her im Haus und ich bin Killer in Hashem. Alles was ich nenne von der Eibestig habe ich gelacht zu den 1,000 Menschen mit uns sich halten etwas für sich. That means that your Malchus Beskalia
So
is
right, what
Begedisha.
you're saying is that the Malchus has to be receiving the place.
But also, nicht jeder can receive so much and it shouldn't affect them.
So
Some people, the Eibishter gave them größere koiches, and he could be a Sar Elephant, get so much das, and it shouldn't affect them adversely. And he can give it weiter to the 1,000 people on there, and other people can't. They only can take
so
100 or 50.
let me tell you like this: the pashtus, you're right, but I said something which I'm not saying perhaps is the yesh echad.
Yesh Echad.
One says the yesh echad only one.
There's much. Because I saw
So
someone
I-
answer Levi
so I-
Yitzchak. Did you
so
see
I
that
wanted
piece?
no.
Someone answered Levi Yitzchak, and at first the Rebbe says everyone has Beskasia, right? Korach is here Bechilas Malchus. Yes,
Right.
that's I saw it wrote it down. And then the Rebbe says, Yes, Beskasia and a Shim Hamshalah. Isn't it a stealing?
Yes. It is distinct because how is it possible that he has no malchus, only malchus b'iskas? It's a question. I don't know the answer. But I just want to say one thing. We asked the question way in the beginning of the Torah: is malchus something that I'm born with, or is it something that gets developed? Remember the question? Is the malchus something that I get born with, or is the malchus something that gets developed? Can I get more malchus? So from the Lashon we see that it starts with this. You can challenge it both ways. You can see it in the Torah both ways.
Is it predestined or
is the malchus bizgalia something that I'm born with, or is the malchus something that gets developed? In the malchus harisha, a person who's born to royalty, prince, whatever his name is, he's at birth, he's destined to be the king. If he makes it. If he makes it.
Became king, Nebuchadnezzar wasn't the king, and he became king. There were people that became kings.
But then we could also ask the question if it's predestined or if it's something
it's both. It's both. Which means, Rabbi say, this is the point that let's get to, and we'll conclude with this, even though I really want to go into the Malchus, the Sitrach, which is Mohar.
I think we can sit a whole night.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'll tell you what Sunday, I'm telling you this, I want to tell you, it's such a shame. It's so much here. There's so much here. It's such a shame.
Someone's asking about learning the year. It's like so hard. It's like you don't want to taste the word. It's like taking a steak, putting it in a capsule, and
Yeah.
Isn't that the shoot for the whole steak?
So, yeah.
We'll get there.
Okay, listen, I'm willing to try. But let me just tell you this one thing, last thing. I think that the Yesh Echad is connected to the first words of the Torah. Kol Echad b'Yisrael Yesh Li B'chinas Malchus. That be'etzim, every Yid has the ability to be the Yesh Echad. And the ultimate goal of the Das Elyon is, what the Atam Tilim at Meleches Kahanim and Goy Kodesh is, that we all have this Echad. The Rebbe wasn't talking about just, the Vadi is talking about the Tzaddik. We learned this in Torah Samachay, when the Rebbe talks about the Baal Soda, so we said that everybody's a Baal Soda. Of course, whenever the Rebbe is talking about the Tzaddik, he means the Tzaddik, but he also means us. We all, why? Because Yeshu in his Soyer B'Veisoi, he could also be his Malchus. What's the challenge? The challenge is that his Malchus is not at its fullest, at its maximum. The Yesh Echad is the maximum of the whole world, but each and every one of us have the ability to have this Malchus like the Yesh Echad. Every single Yid has it.
I think that when you call the pyramid, or when the sinner goes all the way to Reish Golan Asef without any steam, without anything blocking, and the bottom and the top.
Exactly. By the way, so that was made. But we were saying, where's the Echad? Is the Echad on the bottom or is the Echad on the top?
The Shlemus is when it's when it's connected.
100%. That's why it's both, and that's why the pyramid goes both ways. The pyramid goes from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom, and that's what Das is.
The Rebbe touches Aleph in Torah Book. He says it's the Yud.
Yes, and then the Yud.
And the Vav is the sinner. And the Vav is the sinner that connects the two. That should be Echad, Aleph.
I will try to come Sunday night. My wife loves it. And we'll see.